Chris Albrecht here with The Spoon at our FoodTech Live event here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm here with Nathaniel Davis, the CEO of Drinkworks. What is Drinkworks?
So Drinkworks is a joint venture between Keurig Dr. Pepper and Anheuser-Busch, the world's largest brewer. So everybody knows Keurig, the coffee machine, which means one pod, one button, one drink. And we've basically applied that same technology, that same concept, into the alcohol beverage space at the intersection of technology, appliances, and alcohol beverages.
So this is a machine for the home, right? People order pods of drinks for you guys. What kinds of pods can they order?
Yeah, so we've got a huge variety of cocktails in a pod. So here's a pod, for example, or margarita. Basically, think of this as a reverse engineered cocktail in concentrated form. Sitting here, we've got, it's too many to name, 25 or 30 cocktails in the portfolio, everything from classics like margarita. We have 3 different margaritas, Moscow Mule, Cosmopolitan, Mai Tai. We've got the old-fashioned Cuban daiquiri, and on and on and on. We do seasonals and regionals, and it's just a great space for innovation and pipeline.
Who do you see this for?
This is really for people who are exploratory drinkers that love cocktails, but maybe don't know how to make them, or they know how to make a few, but they don't have a huge, fully stocked bar to be able to make a large amount. Or maybe they have got a few kind of like go-to cocktails, but they'd rather be on the couch drinking with their friends instead of in the kitchen shaking up cocktails. So it frees up time, dramatically changes the menu of options when you're hosting, and it simplifies a pretty complex category.
All right, so let's take a look at the machine.
All right. Right, so as I said, within every pod is everything that you need for the cocktail. So margarita, tequila, triple sec, lime juice. This is a classic shaken up style margarita. You put it into the drink, and every pod has a compressed barcode that tells the machine, I am a margarita, and this is the recipe of exactly how to make me. So it knows how much water precisely, it knows the minimum temperature. If it's a carbonated beverage, it knows pressures and the amount of CO2. It knows the mixing profile, if it's shaken, stirred, vigorous, if it's layered. All that is in the barcode and tells the machine how to do it. All you do is close the lid, it'll authenticate, make some suggestion about ice, glassware, maybe garnish. If it flashes blue, where all systems go, press the button. What it's doing is it's metering in the precise amount of water. Right now is when it would carbonate. Of course, margaritas are not, this margarita is not carbonated. It'll crack the pod, and 20 seconds later, you have yourself a nice, freshly made, classic margarita. Little tequila forward, style of margarita that I love.
Sorry, everything's in the pod. The machine, what is the machine doing? I know with water, but it's also cooling and carbonating it. So that's the only thing. So like a person only needs to fill up the water tank, right, replace the CO2 cartridge, right?
That's right. So just like a Keurig coffee machine, you would load the water tank, external water tank, keep the CO2 replenished. Of course, it is tracking whether or not there's any deviation in pressure and will remind you to replace it. But basically the machine is pulling in, chilling the water. It's got a big onboard reservoir that keeps cold, circulates, got a UV sterilizing to keep it nice and clean inside. And basically it carbonates on demand. It's always on and always cold, ready to blend water, CO2, and with the mixing regime that gives a beautiful presentation every time.
Okay, and now where is this available? I know you're rolling out. You're not available everywhere yet, but what's the availability of the Drinkworks?
Yeah, so we've been in market for a little bit over a year. We launched in pilot, but the response was so overwhelming that we've just been expanding as fast as we can build. So we're in Missouri, Florida, California, Pennsylvania, New York, Illinois, Massachusetts as we stand today. But 2020 is going to be a big year for expansion. So we're looking at around the corner, Kansas, Minnesota, Colorado, Washington State, DC, Maryland, going into Texas, Arizona, here in Nevada, we're going to be by the end of the year. So it's a big expansion year. We're moving mostly by e-com or leading with e-com. So drinkworks.com, we can sell the machines, the accessories, and the pods. So almost every state that I listed allows e-commerce for alcohol at the state level so that we can ship it directly to your home, including the pods, which of course are alcoholic.
And how much does it cost? So the machine is how much, and then how much are the refills?
Yeah, so the machine is listing at $2.99. The pods and the refills are between $9.99 for our ciders, for example, and the typical cocktails are $15.99 suggested retail. So about $4 a drink, which is significantly lower price than, say, in a bar.
All right, so that $15.99 gets you X number of pods.
4 pods in a typical tube.
Now that actually, because when you released it, you had mentioned, I think the release, if I recall correctly, included cider and beer along with cocktails. And my first thought was like, how are you making beer or cider out of a pod?
Yeah, so both of those categories are, and since then we've actually launched a line of wine cocktails. So we got a rosé spritzer, Prosecco limoncello inspired that we call lemon bubbly, beer and cider. So I come from the beer world and the beer industry, working particularly in R&D on kind of advanced technology for concentration. Imagine capturing the essence of a beer but pulling its water out, sticking it in a pod. So this machine, we are actually still tinkering and tweaking on the perfection of beer, foam control and the user experience in beer, but we'll be back out with beer rolling out later on this year, so that the machine is ready to do multiple categories, including draft beer out of a pod, which is pretty mind-blowing.
That is pretty mind-blowing. May I try this margarita?
Yes, please. It's all yours.
So let's try it out here. Freshly made. That's tasty. That is tequila forward.
Yeah, it sure is.
Now, with the pods, I noticed you're also working with Loop here for recycling. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the pods are recyclable, but what we found is at the municipal level, aiming for really simplicity and curbside recycling, it depends on the facilities in every town in America. And there's a range of capabilities in terms of handling our small container size. So we partnered up with Loop Industries, which is a take-back program. So in the box in our startup kit, which also includes a lot of other things to get you going, is a few Loop bags, which can fill 30 pods, 35 pods. You seal it up, drop it in the mail, we'll pay for shipping. Costs us a lot of money, of course, but it's really, really worth it, to make sure that the sustainability is part of our business.